Somewhere in a small Swedish town, a company with fewer than 1,000 employees built a car that is theoretically faster than any vehicle in history. The problem is, there is no road on Earth long enough to prove it. This is the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute, a car engineered around a single number that may never be officially measured. And to understand why that number exists at all, you have to start with the company that chased it. Koenigsegg was founded in 1994 by a Swedish entrepreneur named Christian von Koenigsegg. He was in his early 20s. He had no factory, no investors from the auto industry, and no experience building cars. What he had was an obsession with a question nobody had properly answered: how fast can a road-legal car actually go? Today, the company operates out of a former Swedish Air Force base in the town of Ängelholm. The runway that once launched fighter jets is now where Koenigsegg tests its cars. The entire company employs roughly 850 people. For comparison, Ferrari employs several thousand. Porsche employs tens of thousands. And yet this tiny operation builds nearly everything in-house. Its own engines, its own transmissions, its own carbon fiber, its own wheels. When the technology it needed did not exist, Koenigsegg simply invented it. That approach paid off in 2017, when the Koenigsegg Agera RS ran a two-way average of 447 kilometers per hour, or 277.8 miles per hour, on a closed highway in Nevada. For a moment, a company most people had never heard of held the production car speed record outright. But the Agera was not the endgame. It was the proof of concept. The Jesko arrived as the successor, named after Jesko von Koenigsegg, Christian's father, the man who backed the company financially in its earliest and most fragile years. And from the beginning, the Jesko was split into two completely different philosophies. The first is the Jesko attack. It carries an enormous rear wing and is built to generate downforce, pressing the car into the tarmac through corners. It is designed to attack a racetrack. The second is the Jesko Absolute, and it does the opposite of almost everything the attack does. The wing is gone. In its place sit two vertical stabilizer fins, borrowed conceptually from aircraft design, keeping the car pointed straight at extreme velocity. The rear bodywork is stretched and tapered. The front wheel arches are sealed. The rear wheels are partially covered. Every surface has been smoothed until the air barely notices the car is there. The result is a drag coefficient of 0.278. For a car that wide, that low, and that aggressive, that number is remarkable. Koenigsegg has publicly stated something unusual about this car. They have said the Absolute will never be topped. No future Koenigsegg will chase a higher top speed. This is the final word on the subject from the people who wrote it. Now, the engine. It is a 5-liter twin turbocharged V8 designed and built entirely by Koenigsegg. On standard pump fuel, it produces 1,280 horsepower. Switch to E85 ethanol, and that figure climbs to 1,600 horsepower, alongside 1,106 pound-feet of torque. But the raw output is not the interesting part. The interesting part is the crankshaft. Inside that engine sits a flat plane, 180-degree crankshaft weighing just 12.5 kilograms. It is the lightest V8 crankshaft in the world. Less rotating mass means the engine can spin up faster and rev higher, and this one revs to 8,500 revolutions per minute. That is extraordinary for a large capacity, turbocharged engine where heat and pressure normally force engineers to keep the limit low. Then there is the gearbox, and this is where Koenigsegg stopped following convention entirely. Conventional transmissions are stacks. To get from second gear to seventh, you pass through third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. It takes time, and at high speed, time is distance. Koenigsegg built something called the light speed transmission, 9 forward gears, arranged around multiple wet, multi-disc clutches rather than a traditional gear stack. It weighs less than many conventional 7-speed dual clutch units. And critically, It can jump directly from any gear to any other gear, skipping everything in between. Ask it to go from 9th to 4th, and it simply does it, instantly. Koenigsegg named it after the speed of light, which sounds like marketing until you look at how it actually works. So that is the machine. Now here is what it has actually done. On June 6th, 2026, Sweden's National Day, a Jesko Absolute lined up on the runway at Koenigsegg's home airfield in Ängelholm. Factory test driver Marcus Lund was behind the wheel. Over the standing quarter mile, the car recorded 8.54 seconds, crossing the line at 190 miles per hour, or 305 kilometers per hour. Over the standing half mile, it recorded 12.76 seconds at 232 miles per hour, or 373 kilometers per hour. Both figures were verified independently by RaceLogic, using V-Box timing equipment, the industry standard. And both are the fastest speeds ever recorded by a production car over those distances. That quarter-mile run also marked something that had never happened before. It was the first time in history a production car exceeded 300 kilometers per hour over a quarter mile. But the numbers alone undersell what happened that day. Because of how the run was done, record attempts are usually optimized to the edge of credibility. Prepared drag strips coated in sticky compound. Specialized drag tires. All-wheel drive to put power down cleanly off the line. The Jesko Absolute used none of that. It ran on an unprepped airfield surface, on standard production tires, and with rear-wheel drive only, sending 1,600 horsepower through 2 tires. For context, the Chevrolet Corvette ZR1X ran the quarter mile in 8.67 seconds at 159 miles per hour in January 2026 on a prepared surface, with all-wheel drive. There is one more detail that makes this run strange. The performance improvement did not come from new hardware. It came from a software update. And Koenigsegg is delivering that update over the air to every Jesko Absolute already in customer hands. No factory visit, no parts. Every car in the fleet simply becomes capable of what the record car did. This was not the Absolute's first appearance in the record books either. At an airfield in Örebro, Sweden, the same car and the same driver set 4 world records in a single run. 0 to 400 kilometers per hour in 18.82 seconds. 0 to 250 miles per hour in 19.20 seconds. And 0 to 400 to 0 kilometers per hour in 27.83 seconds, taking the record from Koenigsegg's own Regera, which had held it at 28.81. Peak speed on that run was 256 miles per hour, 412 kilometers per hour, and the car was still accelerating when the driver lifted. The run was conducted at roughly 5 in the morning to take advantage of calm wind and cool air temperature. At those speeds, weather is not a detail. It is a variable that decides whether the attempt is even possible. Which brings us back to the number this whole car was built around. When the Jesko Absolute was introduced at the 2020 Geneva Motor Show, Koenigsegg claimed a theoretical top speed of 330 miles per hour, or 531 kilometers per hour. It remains the highest top speed figure ever stated for a production car, but that word, theoretical, is doing enormous work. The figure comes from simulation and calculation, not from a measured run. And the verified record for a tested production car still belongs to the Bugatti Chiron Supersport 300 Plus at 304.77 miles per hour. So why has nobody simply gone out and proven it? Because the requirements are close to absurd. A run at 330 miles per hour would need something in the region of 20 kilometers of straight, flat, sealed road, plus additional distance to slow down safely. Very few surfaces like that exist anywhere on Earth, and almost none of them are available for a hypercar to use. Then there are the tires. At those speeds, the rubber is fighting centrifugal force strong enough to tear a tire apart from the inside. Very few tires in the world are certified anywhere close to that velocity, and tire manufacturers are understandably cautious about signing off on it. And there is the simple matter of rarity. Only 125 Jesko units were built in total, across both the Attack and Absolute versions. Every single one was sold before production ended, at roughly $3 million each. These are not cars anyone is eager to risk. So the Koenigsegg Jesko Absolute sits in a strange position in automotive history. It holds real, verified, independently timed world records that no other production car has matched. It has proven itself over the quarter mile, the half mile, and from a standstill to 400 kilometers per hour and back. And yet the number it was designed around, the one that justifies the removed wing, the sealed arches, the stretched tail, and the 9-speed gearbox, may never be officially confirmed. It might be the fastest car ever built. It may also never get the chance to prove it. If you enjoyed this breakdown, subscribe for more deep dives into the engineering behind the world's most extreme hypercars.